Hello, welcome to Shad Life. Man, I just watched Brant Moore's video. He interviews Chris Muller in it too, talking about marketing in BMX and how BMX marketing is just basically terrible. Um, so I will link that video down in the description. Um, it's a must watch for BMX, but it was crazy because while I was watching Brant Moore and him talking, I'm just like, yep, yep, you're right, yep, I've been talking about this forever, blah, blah, blah. Like, it just, it was like he was just taking the words out of my mouth as he was talking. And yes, I'm going to have an NA beer while I'm talking about this. These are really good, actually. Kind of shocking. um, so I've been wanting to do a video and talk about mountain biking has a marketing problem. And I say that because when I go up to people that don't ride mountain bikes, like we have a community of people that ride mountain bikes, they're passionate about it, they love it, blah, 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 and so on, right? The mountain bike industry markets to those people, right? The other problem with the mountain bike industry, and Pink Bike is a huge problem in the mountain bike industry. They think they're doing like all this good, but they actually are a huge problem. I would say their Friday fails is a huge problem, right? So like when I talk to people about mountain biking and like, oh yeah, have you ever done it? Should you try it? And their immediate reaction is like, whoa, no way, I couldn't do that. That's too dangerous. That's too, I don't have the skills for that, right? That's a huge problem. And it's the same thing that Brant Moore and Chris Muller were talking about with BMX. Same exact problem. Every time you see BMX on social media or anywhere basically, it is the most extreme of the extreme of riders doing the most extreme things all the time. Which is, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with showing that, but they're failing to show the fun side and the other aspect of BMX. Like people like me, now that I'm older, I'm not gonna do a triple flare tail whip or whatever they're doing now, right? Like I just want to ride my bike, and if I go ride the pump track and pump around the pump track, whether it's on my mountain bike or my BMX bike, usually I ride my DJ bike, I'm happy. I'm having fun. I'm having a blast. Like that is what mountain biking and BMX is about, is having fun on a bicycle, not about doing the most extreme thing on a bicycle. So cool. Go do your Red Bull Rampage, right? But when people that don't ride mountain bikes think that Red Bull Rampage is mountain biking, that's a problem, because what incentivizes them to go buy a mountain bike, right? Or if they're flipping through YouTube and they see a Friday fails and it's people doing steeps and crashing and going off jumps and crashing, and it's just crash after crash, and all the riders are doing like extreme things, they get this image in their head that all the trails are like that, and that that's what mountain biking is, and that yeah, you're gonna have these extreme crashes. It turns them off. It pushes them away from the sport, right? And the other thing Pink Bike does, and I pick on Pink Bike because I used to think they were cool, but now they just drive me a bit crazy, especially after the whole Bumblegate thing. Like, again, when they're like, oh, these YouTubers just filming them bumbling along the trail. Well, I hate to tell you, Pink Bike, but that's 85% of people that ride a mountain bike or so, right? They get on their bike and they ride down the trail. So if somebody POV of them riding down the trail, which I do quite a bit of, some people might see that and go, wow, that's cool. Look at the nature, look at the trees. Oh, they're zipping through, they might think that's cool, right? People on motorcycles have GoPros all the time of them riding down the street. You see it all over the place, right? So, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with the extreme stuff and showing the extreme stuff, and even if that's like the bigger bulk of what it's showing. But what I am saying is people don't know much about the fact that you just can get on a mountain bike and go ride a single track trail or some gravel and just flow through the woods. There's no jumps, no extreme rock features, nothing's steep, all of that. Like, where's the marketing and that kind of mountain biking? If it's out there, it's very rare. I don't see it. And me personally, I started recognizing it when I would go up to people that don't ride at work or somewhere else and talk about mountain biking, and they suddenly think it's this extreme sport. There's like a small slice of mountain biking that's the extreme sports side, right? All the rest of mountain biking is pretty chill, pretty fun. You're getting a workout, you're riding a trail, you're out in nature. It's super fun. It's a blast. You don't have to go off big jumps. You don't have to go down super gnarly steeps. Sure, there's some of you out there that think that's the only thing you ever want to do. That's the thing that's fun for you. That's fine. But that's the elitist kind of aspect of the sport. And if that's all you like to do, great. But realize that there's a whole other aspect of mountain biking. And again, Brant Moore and Chris Moeller talk about this. Like, when people get into BMX or mountain biking, I'm going to combine them both because there's a lot of similarities. If they're just bumbling along, right, or just cruising around the bowl or whatever, or cruising through the pump track, learning how to pump or whatever, they get ostracized from the community by the good riders, right? By the rider, they're not very welcoming. I have seen welcoming people, and the people I tend to hang out with, including myself, are pretty welcoming, but I've seen a lot of people that kind of poo-poo that stuff. Like, oh, if you're not gonna go hit this extreme steep, barely surviving it, you're not cool, right? Like, I don't know. That is a problem. If you're trying to grow a sport and trying to keep the sport in existence, because money is required in order for bike companies to manufacture bikes and do all the research and development and all the stuff they do. And the majority of that money comes from the mass quantity sales to the general populace. Like, that is where the money comes from. The money doesn't come from the very small few of us that buy these more expensive bikes, right? So, like, BMX is really hurting now. The whole bike industry is hurting, but BMX is hurting. And what Chris Moeller is saying is it's like really hard to sell a complete BMX bike. He said BMX, they're marketing to themselves. They market BMX stuff to people that already have BMX bikes, that are already into the sport, that already love the sport for whatever reason, right? They don't market to people that are, like, they don't bring new people into the sport. They're not marketing to that crowd. And mountain biking, I feel like, is doing the same thing. They're marketing to people that already have mountain bikes and that are already, mountain bikers that like to ride whatever kind of trail they ride, right? And, one of the other things I'll say about mountain biking on top of that is, even myself, I'm relatively fit, but I sometimes will go on group rides and it's just a freaking hammer fest. There's no social aspect of it or anything, and it's like everybody's trying to prove how fast they are, and it's like, I don't want to do that. I want to have fun. I want to socialize. I didn't go meet up with a bunch of people to ride with them only to have them go as hard and fast as they can, and I'm just trying to catch up or keep up with them. Like, if you're gonna do group rides, you need to, it's not a pissing match of who's the fastest rider. It's, hey, we're gonna hang out, we're gonna ride together, we're gonna have fun, we're gonna go check out some trails, blah 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 blah. And when I've ever led group rides, I always stop relatively frequently and let the group catch back up, and then we continue on. We check on people, make sure everybody's doing okay, make sure they have their enough snacks, their energy level is good, they're ready for another leg of X amount of miles, right? Like, that's bringing people in, making people interested, letting them know that you care about them and their well-being, and that you are including them into the sport, right? Versus just taking off and trying to get them. If you're out there to do fast laps and do fitness, then go by yourself or go with your buddy that rides with you like that, right? But don't go in a big group ride and do that, right? So, there's a lot of work to do if we want the bike industry to thrive. We thrive by trying to bring in new people to the sport, right? And we can have this percentage of extreme aspects of the sport, but like BMX is really hurting because they have almost no concept of, hey, get on a BMX bike, go ride around the pump track. It is a lot of fun. Go off some, small, fun little jump lines. And as a matter of fact, if I go to most trails, the jumps are too extreme to even jump. Like, if you have trails, you need to have mellow, medium, small, medium-sized jumps. I don't like small jumps, like small. I actually think those are more dangerous. But like medium-sized jumps that are tabletops, things like that people can actually ride and have fun and learn and evolve and whatever. But you go to like a BMX trails or something, and it's all these hardcore riders that they don't care about that. They don't want to build jumps for everybody. They only want to build the most extreme, so you'll get a lot more people into BMX if you have things that are rideable for them, right? And it's really important if we want the sport to survive. Brant Moore, it was just awesome seeing him talk about this subject, and I'm bringing it over to mountain biking because I feel like mountain biking has the same problem, maybe not as bad as BMX, but it's pretty bad. When I ask or talk to somebody doesn't ride mountain bikes and they think it's too extreme or too dangerous for them or too hard, and I'm like, really, mountain biking, if you know how to ride a bicycle, you can balance on two wheels, you can mountain bike. Granted, you want to be on a green or a mellower trail, but yeah, you can mountain bike. So there you have it. I really hope that the industry kind of wakes up a little bit and starts realizing that you can't just keep pushing to this one extreme. I even talk about bike geometry and bike design, so they just keep making it more and more extreme, more and more for the gnarly downhill. It's like, stop doing that. You have a category of bikes for that purpose. Stop trying to make every bike for that purpose. Like, just knock it off. There you have it. I appreciate your support for my channel. Please like and subscribe. Peace.